Normally our rainfall season starts in October and ends in March or the first weeks of April. We have analyzed the rainfall situation and what we're expecting this rainfall season. We're basically expecting normal to above normal rains over most parts of the country during the months of October to December, except over Kalahari, where we're expecting normal to below normal rains. Going into next year, that's the second part of the rainfall season. From January to March, we expect mostly normal to above normal rainfall, with the north, that's areas Tabu Chobe, Ngamiland, North Central, experiencing above normal rainfall. What we are saying is basically we are expecting a moderately wet rainfall season. Our rainfall season is affected by many factors, things like climate variability or climate change. We have noticed lately that it looks like we have a shift in our rainfall patterns. Rainfall used to start earlier in around September, but this time around the rains only started during the second week of October. We have already had the onsets of rains over most parts of our country, except the extreme southwestern parts and parts of Buteti area. Another factor which affects the rainfall over our area, especially the seasonal rainfall, it's what happens in the oceans around the world, especially a phenomenon known as ENSO, which most people know as either having an El Nino or a La Nina. Normally when we have what we call an El Nino, we have drought conditions over southern Africa, including Botswana. When we are having a La Nina, which is basically lower than below normal temperatures over the Pacific Ocean, that's the situation which we are currently having, and it's associated with an increased rainfall over southern Africa, including Botswana. That's one of the reasons why we anticipate a moderately wet year, this 2022-2023 rainfall season. Rainfall varies over the country. You'll normally hear us speaking about normal rainfall over an area. For instance, I might give you an example. Over Kalahari, normal rainfall is around 300 millimeters of rain for the whole year, whilst over Chobe, it's 600 millimeters over a year. So if in Chobe you get 500 millimeters, we say we have below normal rainfall, but that 500 millimeters over a different area like Kalahari would actually be above normal rainfall. Having said that, this season we basically expect above or normal to above normal rainfall over the entire country. The rains are going to start late over Kalahari, but with time we're also going to get normal to above normal rainfall. That's why we're expecting normal to above normal rainfalls for this rainfall season. It must be noted that we will have some dry spells in between. Dry spells normally would affect especially crop production. When we have a prolonged dry spell like we had last year in February, we find that it affects agricultural production. However, this year we will have some dry spells, but we don't anticipate them to be as taking a whole month like what happened last year. We've been experiencing heavy rainfall over parts of the country, more especially the southern districts and the southeastern parts of the country. For the water sector, this is good news because the dams are going to fill up very quickly, and we expect most of the dams to fill up over this rainfall season. So for the water sector, it's good, but for other sectors, like for instance the health sector, it might impact us negatively. Since we are expecting normal to above normal rainfall, there's a higher possibility of having floods. The likelihood of having floods is increased this year, and this would normally would bring about damage to infrastructure, damage to crops, and even livelihoods might be lost with things like bull drowning. And also another thing which is associated with increased rainfall is also diseases which are associated with a lot of water. For instance, malaria might spread to some other areas which are not endemic to malaria, and other waterborne diseases, bubal hazia, jabela. My advice to most farmers is that we're expecting good rains this season. So they should get in contact with their extension workers or agronomists, and they are the ones who will advise them on what to plant, which varieties of seeds to plant. They will advise them on water conservation techniques and how to maintain general maintenance of their agricultural produce. So they are the right people who can advise. Since we're expecting good rains, they will advise farmers on what to do.